Hey there, have you ever looked at a list of numbers and just seen, well, a list of numbers? Today, we're going to dive into how to find the hidden stories inside that data. We'll see how a few simple charts can turn a confusing jumble into a story that's actually clear and compelling. Let's get into it.
And this quote really hits the nail on the head. Numbers on a page can feel kind of cold and abstract, right? But the moment we organize them visually, something amazing happens. They transform. They become like characters and plot points in a real narrative, showing us patterns and ideas we would have totally missed otherwise.
So let's start with the most basic story data can tell. It's the one that answers a really simple question. How many or how often? This is what we call the story of the count. Our first storytelling tool is the dot plot, and it's awesome because it's so simple. Think of every single dot as a character in our story, a single thing that happened. By just stacking them up, we can see in a split second which part of the story happens over and over again. Okay, let's actually see this in action. We're going to track animal arrivals over 5 days. So as each day goes by, we just add a dot for every animal that shows up. Just watch. You can see how a pattern starts to show up almost immediately. A story is literally taking shape right in front of us. And there it is. That's our first chapter. The tallest stack of dots. That tells us the most common thing that happened. In our little story, having 4 animals arrive in one day was the most frequent event. Super simple, super clear, and you get it instantly.
But what if the story is a little more complicated than just a simple count? Let's dig into the story of a group, where we really need to understand how all the different data points are spread out.
So here's our next puzzle. We've got a list of ages from some gathering. Right now, it's just noise, isn't it? I mean, is this a young crowd, an older crowd, a mix? It's pretty much impossible to tell just by looking at this jumble. We need to find the story in here.
And that's the key question, right? How do we bring some order to this chaos? How can we sort these numbers in a way that actually tells us something meaningful about who makes up this group?
Well, the answer is a really clever tool called a stem and leaf plot. Now, what's so cool about this plot is how it's designed. It groups the data, usually by the first digit, the stem, but, and this is the important part, it keeps every single original number visible by listing the second digit as a leaf. You lose 0 information. So here's how it works. We take that messy list of ages and sort it. The tens digits, the 20s, 30s, and 40s, they become our stems. And the ones digits, they branch off as the leaves. And just like that, chaos becomes order. And once you have that structure, the story just pops out at you. We can instantly see the full age range, from the youngest person at 21 to the oldest at 47. We can see the groups are pretty evenly balanced. And because all the data is now in perfect order, we can find the middle value, the median, which is 32. We went from a total mess to a crystal clear picture of the group. Okay, so we've got counting and we've got grouping. But sometimes the story is just way bigger. Sometimes you have so much data that you have to zoom out to find the overall pattern. I mean, this happens all the time, right? Imagine you have hundreds or maybe even thousands of data points. A dot plot would just be a giant, unreadable blob, and a stem and leaf plot would be pages long. So how do you tell a story when you can't even show all the characters? This is where the histogram becomes your best friend. Instead of plotting every single number, a histogram groups them into ranges. We call them bins. Then the height of the bar tells you how much data falls into that specific range. It's all about seeing the big picture, the overall shape of your data. For example, let's say we're looking at data from a whole bunch of fishing trips. Instead of listing out the exact number of fish caught on every single trip, we just group them. We can see that on 2 trips, they caught somewhere between 0 and 5 fish. On 5 trips, the catch was between 6 and 10, and so on. So you see, the story isn't about any one specific fishing trip. It's about the pattern. By just glancing at the tallest bar, we immediately know the most common outcome. The clear trend here is that most of the trips were pretty successful, landing somewhere in that 6 to 10 fish range. That's the main storyline the histogram shows us. So let's do a quick recap of this powerful storytelling toolkit that we've just put together. We've got 3 different tools, and each one is designed to tell a very different kind of story from your data. So here's your toolkit, plain and simple. It's all about picking the right tool for the story you want to tell. If you need a quick and easy count with just a few data points, the dot plot is your friend. If you need to see the whole spread of the group, but without losing any of the details, the stem and leaf plot is perfect. And when you've got a massive amount of data and you just need that big picture trend, the histogram is absolutely your go-to. And that's really the big takeaway here. You're now equipped. You have the skills to look at a set of numbers and ask that key question. What story is in here? You can go beyond just seeing data and start truly understanding it. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Data is literally everywhere, from sports stats to the weather to your own budget. Now that you know how to listen to it, what story is the data in your world just waiting to tell you? Thanks for tuning in.